get into this, but I read an article this evening, and after kind of, I don't know, it's God. You kind of see this coming. You kind of seen this coming. If you guys are watching on the replay, just go ahead and fast forward to the 5-minute mark. 5 minutes? Yeah, I think 5 minutes because it takes a long time for people to find me. Anyways, it's been a long time coming, I think. Let's see if we can get the live chat going here. Beautiful, that's nice. This is the first time we've done a live here at the house, and I found an article from Backcountry Explorers Arizona, backcountryexplorers.com, and it comes on a day where Coconino National Forest has done a full forest closure. Now, there's many ways to look at this. So I'm going to go into how I see it. It's tough, and since COVID, the dawning of the virons, it's been different in the backcountry. It definitely has. The temperature of the backcountry's changed. And I don't know, everything's an evolving deal, right? So, we got 5 people in here. I guess, hey, if you were going to fast forward to the 5-minute mark, you missed out. We're going to start at the 2-minute mark. So anyways, Coconino National Forest just announced a full forest closure. That's great. There's a big fire up there real close to where Brian and I shot the last videos. Matter of fact, the last few times I went camping was up in that area. Thankfully, that camp spot is safe for now. Sadly, this fire has destroyed some of the most beautiful places in Arizona. There's 2 fires going that are of concern. The Raphael fire, which is in the Sycamore Canyon region area, and man, there's some beautiful country there, beautiful hiking trails, just amazing land. And the Backbone fire, which is up near where Brian and I camped 2 weeks ago, and that one's dangerously close to Strawberry and Pine, and it's a terrible fire. Both of these fires were lightning strikes. While I'm making this video, just now, I just got home from work about half hour ago, and I decided, you know what, let's do a live video, because I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this article and I was like, son of a bitch, because this is how it begins. And I don't know how successful they'll be. I mean, because, hey, what's happening? Because overlanding and off-road in general is a huge industry, right? So there's definitely going to be some pushback from this. But they cited noise, the hikers. And I am a hiker. You might call me a tree hugger. I'm not that kind of tree hugger, but I hike. So I get it, but it's insane. So right now, as we speak, there's a fire right behind my house, and it's about a quarter mile away. Thankfully, that area burned last year, so there's not a lot of fuels. So the chances of getting evacuated are low, and so we decided to have some beers. And if we do get evacuated, the sheriff's just going to have to give me a ride. He's going to let me get on the bullhorn. Like, everybody needs to evacuate. Yay! So anyways, let's get into this article that the Tono National Forest, go up here, backcountryexplorers.com. The Tono National Forest has released a revised final environmental impact statement for the Tono Travel Management Plan. And Tono National Forest is in my fucking backyard. Literally, in my backyard. And I camp and have camped and have traveled this area for 25 years. I've lived here for 25 years, my 26 years. God, I'm getting old. I moved out here when I was 18. Jesus. You ever realize how old you are just all of a sudden? It's upsetting. So the revision's based on previous comments collected from the public. After 15 years of planning, so this has been going on quite a while, I wonder. The final record of decision will come sometime within the next few weeks and finalize the Tonto National Forest Travel Management Plan decision. The Tonto National Forest is trying for Alternative C, transforming how motorized users access the Tonto National Forest. Motorized users, overlanders, well, maybe side-by-sides are the big problem, I don't know. It will declare certain roads and trails for specific classes of motor vehicles and determine what roads will be closed. Now, there's 1,835 miles of roads proposed to be, and I wish I was only 43. So below, we will give a fair breakdown of the travel management plan and the changes we are facing. We have linked, I wish I had the technology to put this on the phone for you. I'm not that technological. We've got beautiful Pacific Crest Trail behind us, and front tire off the Triumph Scrambler when I rode that up to the Arctic. So anyways, total of 1,853 miles of roads proposed for decommissioning or downgraded to administrative use. Oh, okay, well, I'm not an admin, therefore I guess I won't be able to use it. So what does that do? 1,853 miles of roads. You've got so many people doing this now. There's so many people in the backcountry that all you're going to do is shove them closer together, and it's going to cause more problems. But these guys are still going to have a job. They just don't have to work as hard, right? A total of 3,651 miles of trails will remain open to the public. Oh, thank you for the, the little pittance. Well, why can't they all be open to the public? Man, this is dispersed camping. They're really trying to push out dispersed camping and make it into more of a permit type situation, I believe. Many of these roads are used by miners, ranchers, and recreationists to access water holes, mountain springs, and riverbeds. Well, yeah. A total of 3,651 miles of trails will remain open to the public, but a few excellent 4x4 trails are now closing. This includes Red Creek Trail, Aztec Peak Trail, Cherry Creek Trail, and several trails around the Star Valley area. The Star Valley's up in the Payson Ranger District area. The decision also consists of 1,276 miles of roads completely decommissioned and 577 miles of roads downgraded to administrative use. 353 miles of roads will be added to the system. Really? That includes 192 miles of two-track trails and 108 miles of single-track trails. Now, that's nice. I like single-track. Now, is that going to be for motorcyclists or is it hiking trails? Oh my God, this is good. I highly recommend anything from Southern Tier. They're the best in all the land. So, the Forest Service used several factors to determine what roads will be decommissioned. Routes that exceed a 10% grade travel to maintain tops of ridgelines, cross unstable soil, lead to places of cultural significance. So you're no longer going to be able to drive to places of, significant cultural interests, which it's ridiculous how many petroglyphs are in my backyard, and I have driven to them on roads. Hi, I'd like to drive to these on roads. I don't really particularly want to walk 50 miles to get to these. It's bullshit. People need, you're never going to educate the people. They won't behave themselves, and it's not all the people. These guys have been doing this for 15 years. 15 years, this whole overlanding thing's real new. So these guys have been planning this land grab for a long time. And the thing that you should know about the government is when they take it away, they're not real quick to give it back. It might be too late. I hope not. The travel management. Oh. The Forest Service considered other criteria during the planning process. Roads that are located in roadless areas, roads where soil erosion is evident, roads that cause user conflict, the likelihood of driving into a wilderness area, and the proximity to wilderness areas all prescribe whether a road will remain open or not. Well, I mean, this comes down to self-policing. You know, there's plenty of roads where there's wilderness boundaries where you just don't drive into them, and most of the time there's little markers, you know, stakes that say wilderness boundary. You don't drive past it, and they're taking a lot away from us. The plan incorporates other management decisions like the Tonto Resource Management Plan, Fossil Creek Management Plan, which, by the way, Fossil Creek is on fire currently, and that's really sad because it's a beautiful place. And all the permitting and stuff that they did trying to close that down didn't stop the lightning from burning it to the ground. It's sad. And the Forest Restoration Initiative. It is somewhat of a grand finale where all the management decisions come together to officially obliterate roads and remove them from future maps. We are sad to learn that Forest Road 203 is closing. The Cherry Creek Road is one of Arizona's most iconic 4x4 trails. Jim, are you listening? Cherry Creek. It's an amazing off-road trail. Not the most Toyota capable trail in all the land. You want to have a capable solid axle vehicle to do this, but it's a wonderful trail. The road takes you through some of the most beautiful scenery in the Tonto National Forest. It's visible on maps as early as 1909 and initially provided access to the Pendleton and Barkley Ranch. The road follows the border of the Sierra Ancha Wilderness, starting at State Route 288 and ending in Young, Arizona. It's just a wonderful, wonderful area. It's so beautiful. It really is. I'm fortunate to have been able to see all this stuff. And I'm rethinking a lot of things, you know. Man, do you just become a hotel traveler at this point and just travel to other countries? Since, you know, it seems like our country doesn't really want us to have access to our lands, public lands. They're our lands. After several efforts to keep the trail open, the Tonto National Forest has refused to resurvey the Sierra Ancha Wilderness boundary. The Arizona Game and Fish, Healy County Board of Supervisors, and others submitted detailed comments concerning the wilderness boundary and the discrepancy with previous surveys. In an objection, the Arizona Game and Fish writes, regrettably, critical issues raised by the department about Cherry Creek Road have not been adequately addressed. The department believes that the forest failed to provide an analysis or reasonable solution regarding Forest Service Road 203. You can hear the beer kicking in. Cherry Creek Road identified by the department as a critical route for public access. Healy County Board of Supervisors also submitted comments objecting to the Forest Service decision to limit fuel wood gathering to 300 feet from the road and close access to Ham Repeater on top of Aztec Peak. So, yeah, it happens. You'll have this occasionally. I got some stronger beers. I got some 10%, but I decided 10% beer is not good for a live feed. We're just going to go through this quickly, and we're not going to get drunk on Facebook. We're not on Facebook. I'm banned from Facebook. We're on YouTube. So anyways, they also praised the Tonto National Forest for committing to reopening Cherry Creek upon act of Congress to realign the Sierra Ancha Wilderness, which they did not do, and they will not do. They're not going to take another look at it. This is pretty well set in stone. Documents in the travel management plan have revealed what I believe, now this is the author's personal opinion, the reason for the misaligned border of the Sierra Ancho Wilderness, on page 150 of the final environmental impact statement, the Forest Service explains how they intend to meet the visual quality objectives. In that segment, they describe the discrepancies in visual quality objectives GIS data. Up to until 2006, maps of the Tonto National Forest were recorded on translucent mylar film. We all know that if we're old, we know the translucent mylar film as to what is it called when you went into the library and you could look microfiche. God, I'm old. And according to the Forest Service, when integrated into modern GIS systems, they created significant discrepancies. The Forest Service writes, since the visual quality objective maps were integrated into the GIS system in 2006, there have been numerous changes in the versions of GIS software the forest uses, causing differences in forest boundary, wilderness boundaries, etc., which has contributed to discrepancies. So it's really laziness on the Forest Service part. They're going to get paid. They're going to get paid no matter if they keep it open, keep it closed, whether they enforce laws, don't. They're going to get paid. Screw you, people of the public. So did the same discrepancies occur with the Sierra Ancho Wilderness boundary when the Forest Service integrated these Mylar maps with modern GIS software? Human error could have resulted in the misaligned Sierra Ancho Wilderness border. Sierra Ancho needs to be a more simplified, beer-friendly word. Oh, I like that, how the So now we're talking about the preferred alternative C creates 3 additional permit zones, including the Desert Vista, St. Clair, and the Rolls. The Rolls. People should know the Rolls. They're down there by the, what lake is that? Is it Saguaro Lake? And existing Bulldog Canyon, which you need a permit to go to Bulldog Canyon, but it's free and it's a locked gate on both sides. The permit is essentially a contract between a user and Forest Service where a user agrees to follow specific rules. While visiting said area, permit numbers could be limited, and it will serve as a deterrent to effectively reduce the number of visitors. So your big overland groups, that ain't happening no more. You're gonna have to figure out a way around that. You can't have friends. I don't have any friends. I go solo, so it doesn't really matter. Permit will also allow authorities to give motorized users the ban hammer and deny future permits. Oh, are we getting all tough guy? Have you guys noticed that the Rangers are quite militant looking nowadays? Have you noticed that? How Ranger Rick kind of looks like Ranger G.I. Joe now, you know, and they're not exactly friendly. I'm a pretty friendly guy when I'm in the backcountry because, well, much like going to a foreign country, it's in your best interest to be friendly in the backcountry because there's no witnesses, right? So you could get the ban hammer. In addition, there will be several new OHV areas created at Bartlett Lake, Roosevelt Lake, Golf Course, and Sycamore, which also currently on fire. I don't think they're talking about Sycamore Canyon. I think they're talking about Sycamore, which it does have a lot of problems. Cross-country travel will be limited to these areas and provide unrestricted motorized use on 2,000 acres of public land. So dispersed camping, this is one that we should all be concerned about. Common 30-foot rule for camping on the side of the trail will only apply to the Payson and Pleasant Valley Ranger districts. These areas will be indicated on the motor vehicle use map. Dispersed camping in the Mesa, Cave Creek, Tonto Basin, and Globe Ranger districts will be limited to designated campsites only. Oh boy, can you imagine if you can only camp in designated campsites? You're never gonna fucking camp anymore because there's too many damn people camping. And it's not a bad thing. It's not the greatest thing in my opinion. I wish it was 20 years ago when you could just go out into the backcountry and if you died, nobody would ever find you, and you never saw people. But it's evolved. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna push, which we've got a huge amount of space right now, right? Huge, and they're just gonna push everybody together, and you're gonna have conflicts. It's gonna be the Wild West. It is. So therefore, dispersed camping will not be allowed in the lower ranger districts until the Forest Service analyzes every single campsite. Every single campsite. The wheels of government turn slowly. Do you think they're going to analyze every single campsite anytime soon? I don't think so. Put my ghetto blinds down. Yeah, they're aluminum. They're the best blinds in all the land. Yeah, aluminum happens. Bachelor. All right, so what do we got? Dispersed campsites. The enter inventory roadless areas were also eliminated from the analysis according to Arizona Game and Fish. These campsites contradict the inventoried roadless area conservation rules set by the USDA Forest Service. Their solution for users to access these sites is to pack in their camp with non-motorized means if they desire to use those particular sites. Overland with a backpack. That's fine. The problem is, it's a long walk from the house. This includes 2 campsites at the Hell's Gate Wilderness along Forest Road 1673 and 24 campsites near the Sierra Rancho Wilderness along Forest Road 203. I think I'm going to take some time off and go visit these sites and actually camp in them before it's official. It's hot down there. It's hot. It's hot here. I don't want to camp in my backyard right now. It's hot. Motorized cross-country travel will no longer be allowed forest-wide. Instead, users must stick to designated off-vehicle areas, which I'm fine with that, like cross-country. As mentioned above, several new OHV areas will be created, blah, blah, blah. Firewood permit holders are allowed to drive 300 feet from the road to cut firewood in designated areas, only as shown on the map below, which is not a big area. Alternative C will also allow hunters to travel up to 1 mile off the trail to retrieve big game species. Motorized big game retrieval will only be permitted in designated areas as shown on the map below. Hunters will be required to pick a path that is unrecognizable to other users to avoid continued use. How are you going to do that? How do you ride a quad through the forest? And I mean, you can go in the forest, you can tell where people have walked. Even one time, you can see. If you just let your eyes relax, you can pick a trail. So anyways, what do you guys think? Government overreach? Something that's needed? Do we need this? Do we need to close the forests? I think what we need is, and I hate to say it, but we need these fuckers to do their jobs. Excuse my language. They don't want to do their jobs. They don't want to scold people. I was listening to the Scanner the other night, around Memorial Day, I think it was, and there was a campsite in Prescott, and they went out 3 times. They started a campfire. They went out and said, "Hey, can't have campfires. It's a ban right now." Oh, okay. Wait. Came back out. Hey, guys, we're probably gonna need you to go ahead and not have a campfire tonight. It's illegal. Oh, okay. 3 times. Why did it have to happen more than once? There should have been a big fine And in my opinion, they should have all got tasered. But that might be a little bit much, but it'd be fun to watch anyways, on the body cam. But it sucks because these guys are still going to have a job. They're still going to, they're just not going to have to patrol as much, and they're not going to have to enforce anything. It's just like a free-for-all anymore. Yeah, the amount of people camping on public lands are exponentially more than they were last year. I mean, this whole van life thing is just exploded. And you've got people, for lack of a better word, squatting on public lands. And they don't love the land. They're not taking care of the land. But why punish the people that do? And the ones that say, oh, well, the forests are dry. The forests are dry. It's like, well, what do I do when I camp that would even remotely cause a campfire? We need education, I think. But I don't even think people would respond to education anymore. People are too smart. People are above everything. You can't tell anybody anything anymore. So I don't know. Maybe the solution is shut it all down. Maybe the whole outdoor adventure community's done. It sucks, man. It sucks. But why punish the many for what the few have done? That's the part I can't. Your job is to patrol the forest and enforce the laws. So you're still going to get paid, but you don't have to do anything now. So I just don't know. I don't know what the solution is, because I don't want more law enforcement, that's for sure. I certainly don't want Ranger Rick coming by, hey, you look kind of drunk there in the forest. Like, well, you'll have that from time to time, occasionally, Thank goodness there's no campfires, because then I would be real drunk, because I rarely have a campfire when I camp, because most of the time I don't carry enough water to responsibly put one out. I do when I take the Toyota, but motorcycle or hiking, I never have a campfire. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. But it makes me really sad. And two of my favorite places are burning right now. And the only solace I get is they were lightning caused, so it's natural. And it would have happened regardless. So that's good. But boy, man, we're losing some beautiful country. We're losing some beautiful country. And it just sounds a whole lot like I don't want to mention a certain state, but sometimes they have mountains there, and there's a club named after them. And ever since I was a kid, when I was 16, when I first got my first 4x4, it was a Land Cruiser FJ40. They were trying to take away trails, but this is really happening. This is really happening. And it's sad. I guess the good news is I still can walk. I'm fortunate enough to be able to walk, but there's people that can't hike in. There's people that enjoy the outdoors and the four-wheeling that they're not hikers. They're friends that I Jeep with in their 80s. This guy's in his 80s. He can outdrive just about anybody. This guy's the wheelingest guy I ever knew. But he can't hike 50 miles into the backcountry. So his Jeep is his way of hiking. I don't know, guys. I've gone on too long. I don't want to make this video super long, because I want to drink my beer. And in my experience, drunk me is fun, but you don't want to hear me ramble. I don't know. It was just food for thought, and I saw that article, and it made me sad, because it really hits home when it's in your backyard. It's absolutely control. It is what it is. But what I've noticed about control, people like it. What did the pandemic teach you about control? What did it teach you? People want to be controlled. It taught me that. I don't want to go into a whole political thing because both sides are the same. They're the same. I don't want to go into that. But what it taught me was people want to be told what to do. They love it. They love it. And looking at postings where you've got threads, the majority of the people support this. The majority of the people support it. And they didn't even read, they haven't read it. They just like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. There's fires. Nobody should be camping. Wait, why not? I can go camp right now. Nothing's going to start on fire. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's no sparks. It's aluminum. I pop the can. It doesn't spark. There's no spark. I pack my toilet paper out, and if I'm in my vehicle, I pack out everything. I don't even dig a hole. It all comes back. So the whole, yeah, shut it down. We need to shut it down. No. You're kicking yourself in the dick. You're not thinking it through. Don't shut it down because they're not going to give it back. Once the government takes it away from you, you're not getting it back. Coconino Forest just closed down because of the fires, and it's understandable. Sounds good on paper. Coconino Forest is a big forest. It's a little bit's on fire. Will they give it back? Maybe. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Problem is, the more they take, the smaller the area for everybody to participate becomes, and it's a problem. Yeah, no, I hear you, El Fuego. I hear you. When I did the Trans-America Trail last year, there were some spots that were questionable. I was like, and I just skipped it. Apocalypse, salute. So I don't know what the solution is. I'll tell you what, man, these solar farms, they're not good because right now, if you build a solar farm, you have to have something else to back it up because solar farms are good on a sunny day, but you can't rely on it. So they have to have a backup plan. So whatever they build for solar or wind, they have to back up with what we already got. So, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I mean, this is literally what I live for and have my whole life. I've always loved the outdoors. I've always loved being out there, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to see it go away. I mean, there's definitely problems. There's a whole Instagram community of people out there that are in the forest for the wrong reasons. And they don't care. They don't want to hear an old guy say, you shouldn't probably put your toilet paper on the ground. Oh, it's biodegradable. That's not that biodegradable. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And we'll catch you on another video real soon. Now let's see if we can figure out how to make this thing stop. Yes.